stole my thunder. I was going to have you get up and clap. Everybody stay up. Clap, let's go. Let's get excited. Let's bring the energy in the room. Woo! Everybody jump. Bring it up. Jump. Yes. Oh, we got some shy ones in here. All right. Okay, go ahead and have a seat. So, A Tale of Two Cities. Hey, Mel, did you grab, can I grab my paper? She's stealing my paper. A Tale of Two Cities. So I chose this because I've, like Mel said, I've kind of been living, I hear a lot of you and the struggles that you have raising children, all the different conditions that are out there, and Mary talked a lot about those, but live through some things on which decisions that you want to make. How do we raise a child? That's a big undertaking, right? And there's a lot of different options out there. So I want to talk about the traditional medical model and then what I call the natural chiropractic model. And I can tell you, where they at? Stand up. Go and Tatum, stand up. I'm gonna put them on the spot. There we go. There's my two right there. And why I come up here and do this, I was back there shaking my pants off because I get nervous when I come up here and do this. But those two right there and all of your kids, because they need to learn the truth on how the body works and how the immune system works. And so there is a tale of two cities. And you got to plant your foot in the ground. Oh, before we do this, I'm going to do another text. So everybody pull out their phone. Again, we're going to make you do it. We just got this technology and we kind of like it. So we're really experimenting today. So what I want you to do is type the phone number in, 515-309-3791, and type special and hit send. And hopefully it works, right? No, it will. So, a fork in the road. So we have these things in life where you're going to go one way or the other, and you have a decision to make, and you got to plant your foot, and you got to make a decision and do it. And that's what I'm going to talk about. Is some different. Before we get started in all the health stuff and the studies, I'm going to tell you about some of my forks in the road through life, and to put me at right here today. So my first fork in the road goes way back to high school. So this is February. This is like the most exciting time of the year. It's wrestling season. I love wrestling. State tournament last weekend. This week was Kids State. And then the next 3 weekends, there's college tournaments. I get super excited. I drive my kids and my wife crazy on this, and they think I'm nuts, but I really enjoy it. So this time of year, when I was 18, high school senior, I grew up, my dream was to go to the University of Iowa and wrestle for Dan Gable. That was my dream, right? So you have to be the cream of the crop. You have to be the best of the best to go to the University of Iowa. Well, I didn't make it. I didn't win the championship. So in my mind, I didn't think I was good enough to go to the University of Iowa. So I said, I'm done wrestling. Done. Like, I was a wreck, like emotional, just a wreck. And so I was like, I'm done. I'm still going to go to the University of Iowa, just not wrestle. So I could go there. Thankfully, I had some decent grades, and I could go there on an academic scholarship for $1 for the first 2 years. $1. So I'm like, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. But I had this coach from Wartburg College that kept on me. He was recruiting me, and he said, so this one phone call, fork in the road, right? And he calls me up, and I told him, I said, I'm not going. I'm not coming. I'm not going to wrestle. I'm not coming to Wartburg. I'm going to Iowa. So much cheaper, $1 for the first 2 years. Who wouldn't do that? I can make money, right? Going to college. Kevin, that's going to be the biggest regret that you ever have in your life. And he hung up on me. He just hung up on me. Why did he do that? But it hit me right here. And I didn't sleep that night. I was like, what in the heck? What do I do? Going there is going to cost a lot more money. But I just kept thinking about it all night. And I woke up, the next morning I told my mom and dad, I said, I'm going to Wartburg. I'm not going to Iowa. And I called him the next day and I said, Coach Miller, I'm coming. And he goes, I told you so. So fork in the road. I had to plant my foot. I made that decision. And thank God that he cared about me enough to say, you need to do this. Because he knew me better than what I knew in that moment. Second fork in the road. So I go to chiropractic school. I graduate from, or I'm ready to graduate. I go to California to do my, and maybe a lot of you don't know this, I go to California to do my internship. So I'm living in the Bay Area. I'm going to Napa Valley. I'm going to Lake Tahoe, going to the beach all the time. Like, I'm enjoying life. It is great. And so the doc that I was working for said, I want you to stay, work in my clinics. I'm like, all right, I'm in. I'm staying in California. Call my mom and dad, say, I'm staying in California. 2 years, mom, she's crying. I don't want you to stay out there. I want you to come home. So my decision's made. I have my plane ticket bought to come back to graduate in Davenport at Palmer College, and then I'm flying back and starting my career. Another fork in the road. 2 weeks before I'm flying back to graduate, the doctor I'm working for says, we need to talk. My partner that's in my other clinic, he's moving back to Arizona or to California from Arizona. You don't have a spot. Oh, crap. What do I do now? I'm graduating in 2 weeks. I'm broke as a joke, and I have no money. And thankfully, relationships where I went to college, a doc there in town says, I want you to come back and work with me. So I go and work with him. Fork in the road. And 20 years later, God knows exactly what he's doing, because thank God I'm not in California right now, and I'm right here in Iowa, the best state in the country. So the next fork in the road, so I'm practicing in Waverly, and my boss says, hey, let's do a 3-4 year transition plan. I'll sell you the clinic. I'm ready to retire. I'm out. So I'm 27 years old, single. I'm going, I don't want to stay in the same town that I went to college in. It's a small town. I want to go to Des Moines. I'm single. I want to go down here. It's bigger, right? So another fork in the road. And looking back, that was probably the right decision, but I didn't. And thank God I came to Des Moines, because I'm here with you guys today. Because of that decision, I made a fork in the road. I made that decision. And the last fork in the road that I'm going to talk about is why we're here today, is the difference between how to raise a child. All right, and in the last 12 months, I've had several discussions, debates, arguments, whatever you want to call it, with the medical profession, the pediatricians, on how to raise my children. And we agree on one thing. So this one blade of grass right there, we have an agreement. We have one agreement. And that one agreement is our immune systems, a child's immune system, adult immune system, is very robust. We have a robust immune system. And the pediatrician said 10 to the 9th power. Do you know how big that number is? 10 times 10 times 10 times 10, 9 times. That is a huge number and very robust. I agree with that, 100%. Where the paths go different is the medical community believe, and I should say the pharmaceutical community, because that's who teaches the medical community, that the only way to stimulate that robust immune system is artificially, which I completely disagree with. Because we have a natural immune system that we're born with, that everybody's born with every single day, that we can build on its own and naturally. And that's how we're designed. We're designed to do it that way. And I understand the theory of the what Mary was talking about, the vaccine schedule, the vaccines. I understand the theory, but I'm going to go into the immune system and how robust it is, and why that theory may not necessarily make sense. And again, my purpose for being up here is to support you in whatever decision you make. I believe it's a parental decision to make whatever decision they feel is right for their child, not somebody to tell you what to do, but to have the information so you can make a proper decision. And sometimes that information isn't always given to you. And the more I've dug in and researched in the books that I've read and the research that I've done, there's a lot of holes. When there's a risk in a procedure, there should be a choice. And sometimes that choice isn't given to people. And so that's where you got to put your foot in the ground and say, this is where I stand. This is where I raise my flag, because once you go down the road and you understand how powerful the immune system is, no matter what age, that it works and it's very powerful. But you got to do the work too. You can't vandalize the body and expect a healthy immune system, right? You got to do the work, and you got to put money into it, and you got to put time into it. But it's worth it. It is so worth it, because there has been, in my family, we've had situations where people did get sick and they followed the other model, and they're not here today because of it. And that's where it's hard, because people need to know how to keep their body healthy. So, gut microbiome and the virome. Virome means viruses. What are we all talking about in these days? Is viruses, right? So I'm going to break down the immune system and how it works we're going to start out with the inflammatory immune system. So if I fall off the stage and I turn my ankle, sprain it real bad, it's going to blow up, right? Those immune cells get there, the blood vessels open up, immune cells go there and attack and start that healing process. So we're going to use a bomb dropping off of an airplane coming down. It's widespread, it's going to cause some damage, it's going to cause a whole bunch of swelling, and get a whole bunch of stuff there to start healing the process. So that's your inflammatory immune system. And then you have the antibodies right here. Antibodies are what, when you artificially, that's what the theory is, we're going to raise the antibody levels to that antigen, and it's going to build those antibodies. But the one thing that we know more now than the 1940s and 1960s, it's a different world, right? Back then it was just, that's what we knew as antibodies. How can we stimulate more antibodies? By artificially doing it. Yes, that is true. But what about all the other stuff that's in there and you're injecting directly into the bloodstream? That's where things start getting hectic. And this inflammatory system dropping bombs on people when that happens. Sometimes those bombs can be cleaned up. They're small bombs. They heal, and most of the time that happens. But sometimes there's a big, huge bomb that's dropped, and it can't be cleaned up, and it causes permanent damage. And I don't like that. I don't want my child to be the one that has a huge bomb and that doesn't recover, or person that doesn't recover. And that's the information that you don't get. Let's sacrifice a few for the greater of the whole, but what if that's your child? What if that's you? I don't want that to happen to you and your family. So then there's also interferon. So this is a relatively new in the last 10 years, that we're a substance called interferon gamma, beta. There's a whole bunch of different ones of interferon, but that's an immune cell that when you get exposed to a virus or a bacteria, that interferon is going to help take it out. And then you have the innate immune system over here. Those are your memory B, memory T cells. And those, so we'll go back to military, it's not a bomb, it's your special forces. It's your Navy SEALs, it's your Army Rangers that go in. They're small teams, they go into the target, they get in, get out, they kill the bad guy, whatever they got to do, whatever the mission is, and they get out and they don't cause much damage. That's where you want your immune system to be functioning. But with childhood illnesses, whether it's asthma, skin problems, gut problems, behavioral issues, brain swelling, those are bombs going off over here. That inflammation, they are in an inflammatory world where you can drive it over to this innate immune system, into these memory cells. That's where you want to be. But there's even more. You have a brain. All right? In your brain, there's called glial cells that are part of your nervous system that will kill viruses and bacteria. Sometimes there's things that get across your blood-brain barrier, and your brain needs a defense. And it has it in those glial cells in your nervous system. And then this thing right up here, down here, your stomach and your gut. So gut health, that's kind of a common term right now and getting more and more popular, which is absolutely true. We need to have a healthy gut because down here in your gut, you have all kinds of lymphoid tissue. It's called your gut-associated lymph tissue. Very, very important. When you eat something and it's bad, what's your body do? You're either going to throw it up or you're going to sit on the toilet and go to the bathroom and get it out. It is not fun experience, either one. Hopefully nobody likes puking in here or the other, going to the bathroom, sitting on the toilet. It is not a fun experience, but your body's doing exactly what it needs to do in that moment because it's expelling that. But when you go this way into the body and you bypass the nasal mucosal and the gut, it goes directly into your bloodstream. And so you cannot get rid of it as easily. So there's a huge difference in philosophy there because if you bypass this part, and I will tell you from experience, I have heard a pediatrician say that there is no such thing as mucosal or gut antibody or mucosal or gut immune system. True story, true story. And I don't know where they're learning their stuff at, but that is absolutely not true because the lymphoid tissue is your immune system. So it is a complex system, but it's worth investing in it because it will take care of you throughout your life if you make it work better. And what connects, so the brain's up here, what connects it is the vagus nerve. That is your parasympathetic function, your rest, relax, digest nerve that connects from here all the way down to here. And we're going to talk about stress and here in a minute on some studies, but how stress affects that and affects that parasympathetic nervous system and shuts it down. And it'll shut down your immune system. So antibodies are only one part of the immune system. That's one very important part, but it's only one part, not your whole system like it was thought in the 1940s and 1960s when all this policy started on raising kids, right? Going to the pediatrician and giving them the shots. But it's so much more than what it is back then. The chiropractic model focuses on the whole immune system. I'm blessed. I get to work with a thing called innate intelligence that every one of you have. When you get an adjustment, it connects that innate intelligence to your brain so that your body functions better. I don't have to worry about putting a pill, a chemical into the body, and you don't know what's going to happen. And then you start putting 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them in. Who knows what's going to happen when that happens? So the 5 essentials. All right, this is where I got to do a costume change here real quick. So I got to put on tennis shoes because I'm going to be moving around a little bit. Give me a minute to do this.
Mr. Rogers' neighborhood?
Mr. Rogers, yep, we're going to have a little chat, fireside chat here. Those will be a little hard to do some exercise movements. All right, let's get tied up here.
Flip your shoe like he did that.
All right, there we go. So 5 essentials. What are they? Movement, exercise, food, what you put in your mouth, nervous system, thoughts, stinking thinking or positive thinking, and then detoxification. So the first one we're going to talk about is movement. All right, so we had to get here this morning early, so I didn't get up early enough. We were up late last night, so I slept in, so I didn't get my exercise in this morning. So I'm going to do that while I talk to you guys, all right? So we have movement. This first study, I'm just going to jog around here, keep moving. All right, elderly women went through 15 elderly women, there's 15 of them, they went through an exercise program, and it showed lower rates of respiratory tract infections. What are we dealing with right now? Respiratory is virus, respiratory. Do you think shutting down the gyms is the right thing to do? No. If exercise increases your immune system and decreases respiratory infections, do you think we should exercise? Yes, and sometimes you need to go to the gym. Brain behavior and immunology. So when I get ready for these talks, I go to PubMed. I get a little nerdy and geeky and start looking at all these different studies. So I pulled some different studies off of website. I'm getting tired up here. I'm getting my exercise in. So, what can you do for exercise? You can jog in place like this. You can do squats. We can do lunges. You can do a burpee. Drop down. Do a burpee. That's my favorite. You can do a push-up. You can do them on your knees too. You can. What else can we? You can swim. My wife likes to swim. She's a great swimmer. What else can you do? You can bike. You can play soccer. You can dance. I'm not going to dance because I'm a terrible dancer. What else can you do? You can wrestle. You can do CrossFit. You can walk the malls. There's a lot of different things that you can do. All right. So, but you got to move. And if you're moving, guess what happens? Respiratory tract infections go down. So move. Exercise is going to make you what? Better, healthier. It's going to make you a lot better. So we got to keep moving. So this next study, 56,000 female nurses. I know we have some nurses in here. And they tested their risk for pneumonia over a 2-year period. Sleep. So nurses who reported less than 5 hours of sleep had higher rates of pneumonia. Again, what is it? Lower respiratory infections, pneumonia. Sleep. Anybody good at sleeping or not good at sleeping? Okay, we got some good sleepers. Who's not good at sleeping? So sleeping is very important. And especially some people say, I can go on 4 hours of sleep. BS. You cannot. There are some people, there's a range, 7 to 9 is where it's at. And the interesting thing with this study was if it was over 10 hours of sleep, the rate went up again for pneumonia, over 56,000 female nurses. So you gotta sleep. You gotta exercise, but then you gotta sleep. All right, nutrition, GI tract. So nutrition, infants, probiotics given to infants reduce cytokines. So the bombs going off. Babies can have bombs in their body. Inflammation while increasing non-inflammatory immune systems. The special forces, the Navy SEALs. So probiotics, good and the opposite of antibiotics. They don't kill. Probiotics help your immune system, help that gut health. It's going to stimulate immune cells. So take probiotics, eat whole foods, eat natural foods, get your vegetables in, get your fruits in. They're going to give you probiotics. If you need probiotics, there's probiotics back there. You can get probiotics. It's an easy supplement to do. Prebiotics, so those fruits and veggies. I know my kids, I got one of them that loves them, one of them that doesn't love them so much. It's hard. I get it. I understand it. But the more you can get your kids eating fruits and veggies, I gotta get my heart rate up again. The more you can get your kids eating fruits and vegetables, whether it's oranges, apples, bananas, spinach, asparagus, cauliflower, broccoli, all those things, the better it's going to be. We have fruits and greens back there. It's a powder. If you don't like them, at least try to get your kids to drink a powder that's going to stimulate some fruits and veggies in them. This prevents leaky gut and increases immune function for the entire body. So fruits and vegetables and probiotics are going to make you what? Healthier. They're going to make you better. All right, 3 simple things here. Vitamin D3, vitamin C, and zinc. Let's start with vitamin D. I got a graph over here. All right. So this is COVID. I did a Facebook Live. I don't know if anybody saw this, but 20. So the blood value of vitamin D, I think the medical model says it should be above 30. Below 30 is rickets, a disease that if you have vitamin D deficiency, it's important. Otherwise, you're going to get rickets. But if you have a 20, your percentage rate of contracting COVID is going to be 13%. But if your blood levels are at 60, look at how low that goes. It's down 2 to 3% of actually contracting COVID. So are vitamin D levels important? Absolutely. Vitamin D, get it. If you don't have it, just supplement. I know we're coming out of the winter. I don't like going outside and running in the winter and going, when it's 20 below. I'd rather stay inside and exercise. But we need supplements in the winter, especially in these northern latitudes. 5,000 to 10,000 units a day, and maybe even more. My question is, why wasn't this study, this vitamin D study, on every newspaper across the country during this crisis? Did anybody see it to take vitamin D? You had to look for it. If you look for it, you could find it. You could find it, but it wasn't. It's easy. It's simple. Everybody can get it, and it's inexpensive. Vitamin C. Oh, I got ahead of myself there. Vitamin C. Again, in those fruits. Vitamin C is simple, easy to get, stimulates your immune system, is an antioxidant. It's going to kill those bad cells in your body. One thing I learned when I was researching this was vitamin C actually helps build collagen in your body. So increase vitamin C, soft tissues, skin, hair, nails, connective tissue, the omentum in your gut. So if you want to heal your gut, have more vitamin C. It's going to help the connective tissue. It's going to help prevent injuries if any kids are playing sports. Take vitamin C. We have vitamin C back there, some drinks and products with vitamin C. Zinc is a mineral that is like the key that starts your immune system. It's like starting your car or push the button to start your car. Zinc is very important. It's going to help build the immune system, and it's pretty cool because it helps the BOMs, the inflammatory immune system, and it helps the specific immune systems, those memory B and T cells. So it helps everything across the board. 3 simple nutrients that can be available for everyone who needs to be taken right now. Everybody needs to be taken. We have got Defend, has all of it in it. Truth, just go back and get some if you don't have anything, or if you have some at home. The best thing to do is eat fruits and vegetables. Then you'll get it. Easy, pretty easy, right? But it's hard. It's hard to do. Mindset and emotion. So this goes back to the mindset. All right? Are you stinking thinking or positive thinking? Mindset and emotions. Ohio State University students taking finals for 3 days found lower natural killer cells, T cells, and interferon gamma. Stress decreases immune system. All right? So you have to make sure you handle stress correctly. The longer I practice, I've been practicing for 20 years. What causes subluxation? What causes nervous system problems? Right here, right between your ears. The biggest subluxation is right here. I get it, physical stuff, car accidents, sports, accidents, traumas, but right here. What are you thinking every day? What are you telling yourself? How much stress are you under? That is what causes subluxation. That is what causes sickness and illness. These 3 important parts of the immune system were stressed out, and they decreased when there's stress, when you're staying up too late studying for an exams. So any kids in here, remember that when you go to college. Remember, some medical providers don't believe that this can happen. Again, my debates, my arguments, whatever you want to call it, with medical providers, they don't think stress causes a decrease in the immune system. They would say we still need to artificially give them a shot to make their immune system healthier, even in college. Cortisol levels increase with stress. Cortisol trumps everything. When you're stressed out, there's a hormone in your body called cortisol that will raise up, and it decreases your immune system 100% of the time. If you have high cortisol levels, you can do everything right and you still won't get results because of this right here, your mindset. You're stressed all the time. You're thinking about something. I get it. We've had a ton of crap in the last 3 to 4 years, and it's stressful. But how do you manage it? How do you respond? What are you going to do when the crap hits the fan? Are you prepared for it? And that's what the most important thing is. How do you respond to this stress? Neuroimmunology. So your nervous system and your immune system are connected. They're one in another. Sympathetic function of the immune organ. So your thymus, your spleen, lymph nodes, GALT is your gut-associated lymph tissue, and bone marrow. So we're going to get into some nervous system stuff. Chiropractic. When you have a joint fixation in your spine, All right, so I can bend this way good, but I can't go that way. That motion, if it's fixated or subluxated right there, joint restriction of the spine increases sympathetic hyperactivity, decreasing the function of immune cells. So motion, remember exercise, we got to keep moving. If you don't move, it's going to decrease immune function. Same thing with your back. If you can't go this way and it's fixated, but you can go this way really well, or I can turn really far this way, but this way I can't, guess what it's doing? It's causing sympathetic function, decreasing your immune system. So how does that work? How does that work from your back to your immune system? Because your back is your nervous system. Your spinal column goes through there. And that comes from Journal of Manipulative Physiotherapy journal. It's not my journal, it's from there. Decreases the immune system of the entire body. This one right here, I love this one. Adjustments have a positive effects on the immune system. So this was an early on study done on blood of HIV patients. Effects of adjustments on CD4 counts of HIV positive patients. This happened at the University of Chicago. And they put a group under chiropractic care and a group not under chiropractic care. And look at the results. No chiropractic care, the CD4 counts went down by almost 8%. With chiropractic care, they increased 48%. All right? So people getting adjusted and they're ill. They have a virus in their body, but their CD4 counts went up. Is that going to make their life more positive and allow them to live longer? Absolutely. So the interesting thing about this study, and there's been other studies since, but the University of Chicago, when they got this published, guess what happened to their funding? Gone. They took it. And that's what the NIH, the CDC, guess who funds universities and allows them to do research? Gone. They cut it. Because it showed that something other than pharmaceutical is going to help the HIV community. And they wanted to do more. They wanted to go to other heart disease, cancer. They wanted to do all these other studies and see if it made a difference in their blood work. JAMA. So this one is from Journal of American Medical Association, not Chiropractic Association, Medical Association. Adjustments upregulate the immune response via the cerebellum, amygdala, and locus coeruleus, I can't even say it, adjustment pathway. So what that means is you get adjusted back here or here, and it sends a message into the cerebellum, which is in the back of your brain, to the locus coeruleus and the amygdala, which are your stress parts of your brain. They're real small parts of your brain, but they play a major role in stress. So if you get stressed out, those things get hyperstimulated and decrease your immune function. You get adjusted, you get your spine adjusted, it sends a message up your brain to your cerebellum, to the locus coeruleus, to the amygdala that says, let's decrease that stress. Let's make your body function better. Let's make those immune cells work better. So when you get exposed to a virus or bacteria or alcohol or whatever it is, you're going to respond to it better. And you're going to be able to fight it off better. So stress down-regulates the cellular immune response. Adjustments up-regulate it. Let's look at cortisol. As I said, cortisol is your stress response. So if I have a tiger chasing me, I got to run really fast. I got to run across the stage really fast because it doesn't care about my immune system. It cares about my leg not getting eaten off. So it's going to get blood to your muscles so you can run really fast. So when you do have cortisol every single day, anybody working like 12, 14 hours a day? Like my staff has. Thank you, staff, for putting this together. They need rest tomorrow so they can get that cortisol levels down. When that goes up, your immune system goes down. It doesn't care about a virus. It cares about escaping that. But we have chronic stress every single day. Maybe it's at work. Maybe we're doing this all day long, looking at a computer screen. Maybe it's a fight with a family member. Maybe it's a death in the family. Maybe it's whatever stress that there is, financial stress, marital stress, whatever it is, the body's going to pump cortisol out. And it's going to suppress that immune system. And this comes from an annual conference of spinal manipulation. Decrease the immunosuppressant cortisol. If you lower cortisol, IgG or IgA goes up. That's one of the immunoglobulins or antibodies. Reduces the incidence and severity of pathogenic invasion of airways. What are we going through right now? Pathogenic invasion of airways. So decrease your stress, exercise more, eat better, get probiotics in, get vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin C and zinc. Those things are simple steps that you can do to decrease the pathogenic invasion of airways. All right, you can go a month without food. I did 2 days on Monday, Tuesday. My wife thinks I'm crazy too. I always do a fast every Monday, a 24-hour fast. I did 2 days this week just because I felt like I needed to do it. But you can go a whole month if you want. I don't want to go that long. But you can go a whole month without food. You can go days without water. You can go a couple days and not have water intake, and you can survive. You can go a few minutes without air. I could hold my breath up here. Any kids ever do that? You know, where they hold their breath and they pass out and then they start breathing? But you can do that for a few minutes and not die, but you can't go 1 second without nervous system function. Without nerve supply. Everybody remembers Christopher Reeves. What happened to him? He fell off a horse, C1, C2, fractured, paralyzed. In a wheelchair, picture him sitting there. He's got the tube running down to breathe for him, to go in the bathroom on the outside of his body. But how fast did he age after that damage? He aged so fast, 7 years. He only lived 7 years after. If he would have never been paralyzed, he would have lived who knows how long. But when there's damage to your nervous system and your spine, aging speeds up. And science proves that beyond a shadow of a doubt. Look at a scoliosis patient. If they have a 60-degree scoliosis, nerves get crushed going to those organs fail sooner. Everybody knows that. I don't care if you're a medical doctor, chiropractor, acupuncturist, whatever, we all know that that's going to happen. The spine controls everything, right? We are designed right there. Your brain, when you're born, you have a brain and spinal cord, and those nerves control every single function in your body. For your heart to beat, your lungs to breathe, stomach to digest food, everything runs through your spine. Let's go back to a baby. Baby, 2 cells come together. I mean, how amazing is that? They form 1 cell, it goes to 2 cells, to 4 cells, to 8 cells, to 16, to 32, to 64. You get the picture. The first thing that forms in that baby is what? The notochord, your brain, that baby's brain. The second thing that forms is the spinal cord. The things these bones back here that surround and protect that spinal cord. Without that, there's no life. So the most important thing is, and then that baby grows and develops all the other organs off of the spinal cord. 9 months later, a beautiful little baby comes out. Now, is that science? No. That comes from the good guy upstairs. Good Lord upstairs, makes that happen. That's not science. I just went through a whole bunch of science articles. And as a chiropractor, what I get to do, like I said earlier, is work with that innate intelligence. Work with the power that made the body, that heals the body every single day. And unleash the potential in you. You guys have the most amazing healing power, the most amazing potential right inside you. But you got to believe it. Do you believe that? Do you believe that you have the healing power to do that? You do. Every single one, everybody does. But you have to believe that you can get better. And what I work on, what Dr. Drew works on, is called when you get subluxated. Subluxation means sub is less than, so it's not cut like Christopher Reeves. It's pinched, squeezed, irritated, fixated, out of whack, however you want to describe it. Those nerves aren't messaging with your brain up to your God-given health potential. And that's what I get to work with every single day, is your potential. And I believe everybody has that 100% potential in them when they have a healthy, functioning nervous system. You know, some people might have some damage already. It doesn't matter. You can still get better. But it may be harder for some people, and you got to work harder and do it. It might take more time. I don't know. But when you get this thing functioning better, the thing that controls everything, your body will function better. To make it really simple is the healthier your spine you have, the better your nerves work, the healthier you get. If you have a very sick spine, the nerves are going to work bad, and you're going to get sick. And that's pretty much how simple it is when you understand how the nervous system works. And that's what we want to do. When you come in, a lot of you are in and under care, which is incredible. For taking charge of your health. We sit down and talk, find out what the problems are, what we can do to help, what your goals are, what you want to do to get health. It's not about me, it's about you. I want to see you succeed. And then we do some tests. We're going to look at your spine. We're going to see if you're like this, or look at your posture. Who does this all day long? How do we get these things? If you're sitting in front of a computer, walking around like this. I know my daughter, she was talking about walking around. She was like walking around the house like that the other day, and I'm like, you cannot walk around like that. You need to walk normal. So there's a lot of different causes for these subluxations. We're going to find it. I'm going to get in there and palpate, find where those nerves are getting crushed at, getting pinched at. We do a nerve scan, EMG. Okay, technology. We want to find out how you're doing. Do a full spine digital X-ray to see where those subluxations are at, how long they've been in there, how much damage, if there is damage, if there's any arthritic conditions, what it's going to take to get you corrected, how long it's going to take, and then which direction that Dr. Drew and I need to adjust. That's what we do. We'll have you back, go over the results, and if you want to get started, you can. If not, you don't have to. But that's what our procedure is in our office, and then we have the other essentials. Take you through, exercises, give you some at-home exercises to do, and then nutrition, detoxification. We want to make sure that we're hitting all of that stuff, all right?